As you can see, the drug and drug-related, the drugs that were collected, the seizures, right over 66 million for those. Training hours received for our department. We had 6 canines in service. For our administration department, that is all of the records that were processed. Our records requests were at 719. The warrants served were at 1,064. Civil served at 679, and the deputies' reports that were processed out of my office were 3,117. Detention had 2,325 bookings and 2,506 releases, and they transported a total of 195,766 miles. In our dispatch center, that breaks down the calls for you, they had 21,812 911 calls. They had 25,707 for admin calls. They broke it down by type for law, fire, and medical, and they had 429,796 radio transmissions. There's your training hours for the Patrol and Detention Bureau, as well as our volunteers. The statistics for the Reserve Posse, Search and Rescue out of Globe, the Northern Gila County CERT team, Tono Rim Search and Rescue. So they volunteered a total of 24,185 hours, which was a total savings of 636 and 856 for savings to the taxpayers. And with that, on our back is just our contact information, website, and any of the programs we offer. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Sarah. Supervisor Humphrey?
I have no questions.
And you know, I don't either, so I appreciate very much the report. Mr. Newman just walked in. Are you part of this report, or would you have anything to say?
Moral support only.
Moral support, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Sarah. Is that your, all you're gonna have for us?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
If, like I said, if you guys have any questions for us, you know where to find the sheriff and I. We'd be happy to meet with you.
Okay, appreciate it very much. Thank you, and congratulate Sheriff Adams Shepard for his reelection.
Yeah, thank you. We're excited for another 4 years.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, next will be item 3A, public hearings, information, discussion, action to adopt ordinance number 2024-06, which authorizes an amendment to the Gila County zoning map for unincorporated areas in Gila County, Arizona by changing the zoning for assessor's parcel number 304-30002K, located on Highway 87, Payson, Arizona, parcel 4 of ROS 5822A and B to Commercial 3 District C3 designation. And Randy Plummer, how are you?
Wonderful, sir. Good morning. And the next 4 items are basically the exact same. They're parcels in Rye. They're south of the old Four Seasons down to basically the skeet range in that area there. But we got to have separate votes because there's 4 parcels. So I'm going to just tell you everything once, and we'll see if we can go with that. So again, this is to adopt ordinance 202406. This is basically a dual zoned parcel. So all of these parcels, except one, are dual zoned. So they are GR and C3. One of these parcels is just GR. So this parcel was originally zoned RR in April of 1999. The Gila County Board of Supervisors approved a request to rezone the property from RR to GR, and on the west and C3 on the front 300 feet of the property. SBL Engineering LLC is requesting to rezone this parcel from GR to C3. This is parcel 4, but again, we're saying the same thing about the rest of them, which was completed and recorded in November of 2023. Per the applicant, rezoning the parcels to C3 falls in line with the adjacent parcels in the area. The zoning of this area falls in line with the county long-term zoning of parcels within this area. The rezone to C3 will make the property more marketable. Arizona revised statutes, prior to the adoption amendment, we have to have postings in the meeting, 15 days, which we did. Legal ads were published on 7/16 of 24 and 7/17, 2024 in the Payson Roundup and the Silver Belt. As of today, we have no one against or no one for this rezone. The subject property is zone GR, and the intent of GR is to provide a land use category for those unincorporated areas of Gila County not specifically designed for any other zoning classification, and to allow for a minimum regulation in the rural and sparsely populated areas of the county, while still providing protection against uncontrolled urbanization and industrialization of fulfilling the statutory responsibility to conserve and promote in public health, safety, convenience. Comparatively, the C3 intent and purpose is to provide a district where a full range of sales, service, and office uses are permitted and within the density of traffic and building area not conductively to residential development. In reviewing the rezoning applications for recommendation, staff considers the state statute, Gila County zoning ordinance for unincorporated areas of Gila County, the current and proposed land use of the property, adjacent zoning, public comments, and if the land can be compatible and harmonious with the neighboring uses. All this is being done per ARS 11-814. These parcels fall within the multifunction corridor of the Gila County Comprehensive Master Plan. The multifunction corridor category denotes areas of the county that are located adjacent to primary transportation routes and where a mixture of land uses are desirable based upon the specific location characteristics of the land. The multifunction corridor category is designed to capitalize on the land use opportunities resulting from proximity and visibility to a primary vehicle transportation corridor. The use permitted in this multifunctional corridor are intended to respond to the unique opportunities, scales, and function that exist in the different areas of the county. Conclusion, based on the applicant's review, that the land will be compatible and harmonious with the neighboring uses, and the proposed rezoning conforms with the comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval to the Board of Supervisors for the rezoning request. We have conditions on there, but it's basically just that they have to follow state statute and get all the permits they need to do, and that they have to follow what they've submitted for their development plan. Any questions? I'll be more than happy to answer.
Thank you, Randy. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, one, on changing zoning, apparently it's not that difficult to do. And so, like, now that they're going to the C3, what if at some point in time they wanted to go back to the way it was?
They would have to rezone again.
Right, but it's not that difficult a deal to change zonings?
Well, it's a process. It's not, I'm not going to say it's difficult or easy.
It's just a process.
It's a process, and once you follow it, we go to P&Z Commission. They can make recommendations to the supervisors here, and the supervisors are the ones that vote on it. There is a portion, and we started using this on the next rezone that I will be for you, that there is a stipulation in state statute that says if they don't develop it, we still have to come back to you, and you have to say that rezone it and revert it back to what it was. But we just kind of came across that, like I said, on the next one. So on this one, we don't have that reversion clause in there. But it can be rezoned again. There's nothing that says you can't rezone several times.
Okay, yeah, because there's been properties that have gone back to the way they were zoned before. And I never understood why some properties have two different zonings on the same property. That seems really confusing.
Well, this one, they got rezoned to add that C3 to the front 300 feet. Basically, it was decided when they were coming up with the zoning, if you're along the highway, First 300 feet is going to be C3.
Right,
And that's why it's dual zoned.
okay. Mr. Chair, I have no more questions.
Thank you. I only have, let's see here. So all 4 of these are for the whole area. Now, just to the south of these properties is 002D, which is, I think, where they have a propane business or
Right.
something. What is that zoned, you know?
I do not.
Just, okay, it's okay. So by zoning it C3, it also prevents any residential development.
Correct.
Okay,
The current plan, and developers can speak to this, they'll probably have different options. They want to do RV storage. They've talked about doing a truck stop. They've talked about having like a convenience store there type things and stuff like that. And then storage units
right.
have been talked about being there. But they'll be allowed to do anything in the C3 if the rezoning gets approved.
Yeah, I remember it's been a discussion for a while about where the floodways are and the different things, so, and what they can develop. So, okay, so I will then close my remarks and open it up for public hearing. And if there's anyone here in Globe, no, any, Cassandra, anyone there that wishes to speak? And then is there anyone in Payson that wishes to speak on this item? No.
No, sir.
Okay, very good. So then with that, I'll close the public hearing and call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-06.
And I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Unanimous, 2 votes. And so Randy, is it incumbent upon you to give us a full explanation on each one of these as we go forward?
Only if you would need that, since I made my remarks in the beginning that says they were all basically the same. I can. I'm more than happy to do that.
Okay.
Or, so this would be for the ordinance 2024-03.
Yes, let me read it and then, okay. Item 3B is information discussion action to adopt ordinance number 2024-03, which authorizes an amendment to the Gila County zoning map for unincorporated areas of Gila County, Arizona by changing the zoning for assessor's parcel number 304-30002L located at Highway 87, Payson, Arizona, lot parcel 1 of ROS 5822A and B to commercial 3 district zoning. Supervisor Humphrey, do you have any questions?
I have no questions.
And neither do I, so I'll open it up to public hearing. Globe, no, no, and Lisa?
No, no, sir.
I'll close the public hearing portion and call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-03.
I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Item 3C, information discussion act. Yes, sir, thank you. So item 3B was a unanimous vote, which is 2. Okay? And item 3B, information discussion action to adopt ordinance number 2024-05, which authorizes an amendment to the Gila County zoning map for unincorporated areas of Gila County, Arizona by changing the zoning of assessor's parcel number 304-30002M located at Highway 87, Payson, Arizona, parcel 2 of ROS 5822A and B to commercial 3 district. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions, other than if it's the same as the ones before, that's fine. If not, if there's any difference.
This one, there is not. The next one is zoned all GR.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. And I have no questions. I'll open it up to the public here in Globe, the internet, or Payson.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. We'll close and call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-05.
And I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries unanimous. Item 3D, Information, discussion, action to adopt ordinance number 2024-04, which authorizes an amendment to the Gila County zoning map for unincorporated areas in Gila County, Arizona by changing the zoning for assessors parcel number 304-30002N located at Highway 87, Payson, Arizona, parcel 3 of ROS 5822A and B to commercial 3 district zoning C3. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
And I do not have questions. I'll open it up to the public here in Globe. No? No? And Payson?
No, sir.
No. Thank you very much. I'll close the public hearing portion and call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt ordinance number 2024-04.
I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Randy.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Moving on to our regular agenda items, item 4A, I would like a motion to recess as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
And I will second that motion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And Elaine, we have information, discussion, action to approve a library service agreement with the San Carlos Apache Tribe in the amount of $41,000 for the San Carlos Public Library for the period July 1, 2024 to June 30, 2025.
Good morning, Chairman Christensen, Supervisor Humphrey. This is the last of our library service agreements, our annual agreements for all of our 8 libraries. San Carlos is our last one. You approved the other 7 on July 2nd, and we would like to move forward with an approval on this library service agreement for San Carlos.
Thank you, Elaine. Supervisor Humphrey.
Just that it's good to see them take part in this, because I think in the past they have not, and didn't know what.
They have been.
They have been?
They've
Oh,
just
okay.
been a little slower.
They've just been slow. Okay, maybe that's where I was. So, yeah, it's good to have them aboard.
Yes.
Thank you, Elaine.
Thank you.
With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the library service agreement with San Carlos Apache Tribe as presented.
And I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Elaine. I'll now call for a motion to adjourn as the Gila County Library District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Well, on to item 4B, information, discussion, action to approve contract agreement number 1 GPA contract number 22-02PV-18 with Sentinel Technologies Incorporated in the amount of $240,038.33 for the Microsoft renewal for the term of August 22nd, 2024 through August 21st, 2025. Good morning, Carrie.
Good morning, Chairman Christensen and Supervisor Humphrey. This item is for our Microsoft renewal. All county employees use the Microsoft Office software, the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams. We are using contract agreement number 1 GPA contract 2202PV-18 with Sentinel Technologies for our renewal. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer for you.
Thank you, Carrie. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, refresh my memory on the renewal. Was it this much last time, or have they gone up, or?
It has gone up some, yes, sir.
Okay. No further questions.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve contract agreement number 1 GPA contract number 22-02 PV-18 with Sentinel Technologies Incorporated as presented.
And I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Carrie. Item 4C, information, discussion, action to authorize the advertisement of request for proposal number 061324. It's financial consultant services from a certified public accounting firm or financial consultant to evaluate the Gila County fee schedule and propose future fee schedules to the Gila County Board of Supervisors. Good morning, Marin.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Supervisor Humphrey. The Finance Department would like to request your permission to advertise for proposals to have a financial consultant service evaluate county-wide fee structures as they compare to the cost of doing business and evaluate what opportunities exist to better align those fee structures both internally so that if you have the same fee in two different departments, it's being charged at the same amount, and that we recapture our costs as much as possible. We have not done this in the time I've been here, so it should be a really good study of what our current fees are and what services we provide to our constituents.
Thank you, Mayor. And Supervisor Humphrey.
Only about, how long will it take to do this? A year, 6 months?
We'll have to see what the proposals are.
It just depends on the proposals. And then to activate it would take,
We would have to
depending.
bring it back to you. Most likely, we would bring you a presentation of the outcomes and ask you for your direction whether you'd like to go forward with a new fee structure. And then we'd bring it back to you again after that. That way you had something similar to a work session and then an action item.
okay, yeah, because it's going to involve building permits and all those kind of things. So I was just kind of wondering about when that's going to
Yes,
maybe come
it's
around.
not going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay.
And with we're anticipating that the timing will allow the current cost allocation plan that's under development to be completed so that that can be taken into consideration while we're evaluating this. And that'll help us evaluate all of our programs countywide.
Again, thank you very much for all that you do to keep us updated and afloat and out of trouble.
Thank you, Mayor. And so instead of doing this internally, we'll seek a proposal, and I'll be interested to see how much it will cost to do that, because I know we have not really reviewed a lot of our fee structures, the landfill, community development, et cetera, things like that. So will you be asking for proposals from companies that specialize in this kind of thing, not just a CPA, but specialize in fee-based stuff for government entities?
Right. So this won't be like a junior high school student doing this as a study for their civics class. This will give us the opportunity to talk to some of the financial consultants we already work with, such as our CPA firm, and we have another firm that's doing another analysis for us, and get their feedback on what it would take to truly evaluate this. We're also anticipating sending the request for proposal out to the firm that's doing our cost allocation plan, because this would make sense to be the next project that they would pick up. But we have to ask them for it separately because it's not part of the original scope. And there may be other types of firms that specialize in these kinds of projects that we can request their input. And we'll also be able to, as part of this project, get feedback from internal departments such as the landfill on the work they've already done to evaluate what their fees are, so that we're not reinventing the wheel and we're using the tools we already have.
Okay. Thank you, Marin. I really don't have anything else. So with that, do you have anything?
No.
Okay, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize the advertisement for request for proposal number 061324.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Marin.
Thank you.
Item 4D, information, discussion, action to review the bid submitted for invitation for bids number 032124, Northern Gila County Water Storage System Project for the purchase of 56 tanks, 5,000 gallons each, and award a contract to the lowest, most responsible, and qualified bidder. Good morning, Carl.
Morning, Chairman, Supervisor, and Supervisor Klein, if you're watching on YouTube. I am really excited and honored to bring the final step of this process before you all. As you know, and I've brought up here many times, this project was initiated by the late great Supervisor Tommy Martin Klein, and it's an honor to kind of take over on rehabilitating this project. So this should be the final step in the process. These two items, items D and E, are part of the same project. The first one that I'm here to talk about is the purchase of the tanks. So the vendor that has been selected will be providing 56 5,000 gallon tanks. This is the only vendor that was actually able to plumb the tanks in a way that is compatible with the wildland firefighting apparatus, that did also not void the warranty of the tanks. So there will be no additional plumbing fees after installation. That's all included with the shipping and everything of the tanks. So these next two items will be the only costs expected. So this is for the actual purchase of the tanks themselves. That's all I have on that.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
We have a grant to pay for this. It's a 50-50 match grant, right?
It's earmark funding, yes. It's 50-50.
Yeah. Okay, all right. So with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to award a contract to Akronity DBA Tank Depot in the amount of $373,336.83 in response to invitation for bid number 032124.
I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item 4E, information, discussion, action to review the bid submitted for invitation for bid number 020623-1, Northern Gila County Water Storage System Project for the tank installation, and award a contract to the lowest, most responsible and qualified bidder. Carl, go ahead.
Thank you, sir. This will be the contract for the for Fansler Resources, who will be installing the tanks. So they are tasked with picking the tanks up from their stored location, which will likely be the Star Valley Yard, and delivering them out to these sites. It'll be 4 tanks per site. They will level a 10 by 40 section of land, lay a small layer of granite to prevent erosion, place those tanks and fill them. Once they are filled, they're going to be run parallel with the existing water bladders until those water bladders begin to fail. And instead of putting the time and effort and resources into repairing them, they will just be removed as they fail. So this comes out to about exactly $68,246. That's all I have on that one.
Okay, thank you, Carl. Supervisor Humphrey.
And the tanks will be sitting on granite, not concrete?
Correct.
Okay.
Carl, are we going to have any extra tanks, or are all 56 going to be installed?
We will not have extra tanks, unfortunately. The verbiage in the earmark funding made it pretty clear that this is to replace existing.
All right, very good. So thank you. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to award a contract to J.W. Fansler Resources in the amount of $68,246 in response to invitation for bids number 020623-1.
I will second that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item 4F, information, discussion, action to consider and select one of the following 3 proposed projects to support in partnership with Salt River Project for Year 2 Dude Fire Restoration Project Phase 3, North Payson Mastication Project, or Hagler Phase 1 Project. Carl.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a continuation of the MOU with SRP, where the Board of Supervisors has contributed $5,000 annually to support projects of their choosing. I also have Colette Pancini here from SRP to answer any questions that I am unable to answer myself. So we have 3 projects here. Cassie, do you have the presentation by chance for that? It should be there. So the first project is the Dude Fire Restoration Phase 3. This project covers 1,985 acres. The estimated cost of the project is $1,588,000. And this is a restoration of the 1990 Dude Fire footprint. If you go to the next slide, Cassie, it'll show a map with kind of a breakdown of where that is. And again, this is Phase 3. So it's going to be kind of that dead center color there. It's kind of hard to see on the screen, and then the area on the far right. The next potential project is the North Payson Mastication Project. This would be a continuation of the project that this Board of Supervisors selected for last year. The acreage covered on this mastication project is 4,309 acres, coming to an estimated cost of $3.9 million. This is another critical area. If you want to go to that map on the next slide there, Cassie. This shows kind of the breakdown. That South Payson Phase 1 that we selected last time is on that southwest, I brought my compass, the southwest corner of the map there. And this would be kind of that northern section that creates that barrier around the northern part of Payson. And the final project to choose from is the Hagler Phase 1 thinning project. Again, this is a thinning project covering 1,678 acres. Estimated cost of the project is $1.3 million. And the next slide, Cassie, will show the map of that area. This one's a two-phase project, with this being the initial phase of that project, which I imagine would mean that Phase 2 will be an option next year. So those are the three projects that we have to choose from. And after reviewing them all closely, it would be my recommendation to select that North Payson project. It is once again the most acreage, the most cost that our county would be benefiting from. And it is a continuation of the project that we started with them last year. And Colette, if you can expand on this or correct me if I misspeak, these projects are all going to be done at some point anyway. So this is just a project that we choose to put our contribution towards. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Carl. Supervisor Humphrey?
Did you have anything else to add?
No, Carl covered it.
Oh, okay, good
I'd
enough.
be happy to answer any questions.
I have no questions. I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Carl, so when you say North Payson, that would be the section that is actually southwest of Payson. Right? It's just called the North Payson Project.
So the southwest portion is a different phase. They're all Payson projects, geographically based on, you have to excuse my understanding of the map, I am colorblind, but the section in what I believe is dark blue on the north end should be the project that we're talking about for this one. The purple on the southwest corner is the project we selected last year.
Okay, thank you. And our contribution is 5,000?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
If at any point we wanted to support more than one project, that option is available for additional contribution.
Okay, thank you very much, Carl. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to support the North Payson Mastication Project in partnership with Salt River Project.
I will second that motion, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Carl.
Supervisor.
And thank you. And we have item 4G, information, discussion, action to adopt resolution number 24-08-02 to enter into an easement agreement for drainage improvements between Gila County and BHP Copper Incorporated for the construction and maintenance of drainage improvements along Russell Gulch between Bessich Boulevard and Hospital Drive. Good morning, Homero.
Good morning, Chairman and Board. Good to be here with you this morning. The two items that I'm going to be presenting today have to do with the easements along Russell Gulch. And a summary for both of them is that following the telegraph fire, we did have flooding across many areas that had water from the watershed, from the telegraph fire watershed. And on the downstream portion of Russell Gulch, there's a section between the hospital and the culvert on Hospital Drive that restricts flow. We had been working with J.E. Fuller to make an improvement across many different areas. This was, we thought, a very critical area to resolve first. It is at the downstream end of Russell Gulch, like I mentioned. We were working with NRCS, that fell through, but we asked DIFM to provide us with the monies that they were going to help us with local share, and we have that funding available to us. So we actually have a $2.6 million project already envisioned for the improvement. What it would do for this section from the hospital, from Bessage at Hospital Drive to the culverts on, I'm sorry, from Bessage at the hospital to the culvert on Hospital Drive, we would triple the capacity of the gulch, significantly diminishing the probability of flooding in the future. And so I'm going to start with the first one. The first one has to do with 5 different parcels that BHP owns along and adjacent to the gulch. And the parcels are listed in the board item 206040058 and then 007, 014, 015, and 016. And we have an easement agreement that BHP has signed off on. And in that easement agreement, they will allow us both the perpetual easement to maintain the improvement as well as the easement to make the construction. And those are the easements that are attached for, and resolution that are attached for your signature. And with that, we recommend that the Board of Supervisors enter into the easement agreement for drainage improvements with BHP Copper Incorporated. Any questions?
Thank you, Homero. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions. I stay up with meetings on these guys pretty good, so I have no questions.
I don't either. Thank you, Homero. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 24-08-02.
And I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
By the way, there's been a number of staff members that have worked on these easements. Our surveyor, Scott Warren, Steve Williams, Sharon Boyer, and the rest of the staff actually. We've had to go out to satisfy the different requirements that we have for these easements, including some state statutes that were brought to our attention. In fact, had people sign on these easements twice. And I also want to thank BHP Copper and the 9 property owners that I'm going to mention later on for their cooperation and all of this effort that we put together. Okay, so the next batch of easements, actually they're grouped together. There's 13 easements that we are asking for your approval, and there's
Homero.
9 property owners.
Excuse me, Homero. I think you want me to read it first. Okay, let me read it, and then please thank all those that are involved for all their extra work and all that they've done, because it takes a team to get this. So 4H, which you'd like to discuss, is information, discussion, and action to adopt resolution 24-08-01, accepting grants of drainage easements from Arthur J. and LaDonna L. Sandoval, Christopher L. Cecil, Southwest Gas Corporation, Donald and Angela Ervin, Jose Miguel and Hilda Torres, Clyde Elmer, Barbara Jean Roberts, Horses and Sunshine, LLC, and Warren H. and Brandon K. Norcross. Okay, Homero.
Thank you, Chairman. Appreciate that. So we're on the item to adopt resolution number 24-0801 to accept drainage easements from property owners along Russell Gulch between Bessage Boulevard and Hospital Drive. And like I mentioned earlier, there's 9 owners, 13 easements. Again, they're granting us the right to do the work and maintain the work once we do the work. And it is related with the previous board item. Again, it's funded through different funds. And hopefully at the next board meeting, we will be bringing to you that design so that we can go out for advertisement on that design for bids. So with that, I would like to make the recommendation that the Board of Supervisors accept the drainage easements from the adjacent property owners as mentioned in the earlier.
Thank you, Homero. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
And neither do I. So with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to adopt resolution number 24-08-01.
I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Homero.
Thank you very much.
Item 4I, information, discussion, action to approve intergovernmental agreement number 24-0009724-I between Gila County and the Arizona Department of Transportation to replace the existing 1980 Tonto Village Bridge with a double box culvert crossing. Good morning, Alex.
Morning, Chairman, Board, thank you for having me. I always have the fun numbers, don't I?
Yes.
So this is the approval for intergovernmental agreement number 24-0009724I between Gila County and the state of Arizona through ADOT. What we have going on here is ADOT has so ADOT maintains the Arizona's National Bridge Index for the federal government. And part of that index is they do inspections on bridges every 2 years throughout the entire state. And when those bridges meet fair or poor conditions, they then become eligible for the off-system bridge grant, which this is what we applied for, and they have agreed and signed off getting us this IGA for $770,000 for both the design and replacement over the next 3 years of the Tonto Village Bridge. Now, this bridge we had tried to address in-house as the county a few years ago and found that it was just going to be unfeasible for us to financially be able to address this, and we were having to look at different alternatives. And so when ADOT brought this grant to our attention, we jumped on it immediately.
Thank you, Alex. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions other than, Alex, thank you for reaching for these grants and for stepping into your position and taking hold of these things. I appreciate it very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We do love grants. Where is this? Alex, I'm very familiar with Tonto Village. Where's this bridge? There's already a brand new bridge there.
So that bridge is along Control Road. This is the bridge on Johnson Boulevard. So
Okay.
before you turn onto that bridge on Control Road,
Yeah.
you turn off onto Johnson Boulevard,
Yeah.
and it's the only other bridge in Tonto Village.
I was unaware. Okay. Thank you. And with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the Arizona Department of Transportation intergovernmental agreement number 24-0009724-I.
And I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Are you handling the next one too?
I'm handling the next two.
Okay. 4J is information discussion action to review the bid submitted for request for proposal number 011224 on-call professional training and award a contract to the most responsible, and qualified bidder.
Thank you. So this is a request to award the contract to OY Despain Engineering for training as far as, or for on-call professional training for both the roads crew leadership and the engineering team. This training would involve culvert design, installation, and state standards that are associated with that, as well as FEMA and floodplain regulations.
Okay, thank you, Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
I have no questions either. Thank you. With that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to award a contract to LY Despain Engineering in the amount not to exceed $10,000 in response to request for proposal number 011224.
I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Item 4K, information discussion action to increase the Gila County construction budget contribution for the IGA number 22-0008731-I between Gila County and the state of Arizona, acting by and through its Department of Transportation in the amount of $264,054.68 for the Control Road Safety Improvement Project. Alex.
Thank you. A little bit of background here. So in 2019, Gila County submitted for the HSIP, Highway Safety Improvement Project, application for Control Road. Part of this project was to extend the end of the Control Road from Tonto Village 2 miles to the west to the turnoff to Roberts Mesa, excuse me. And the other part of that was to add rumble strips to that first 2 miles of pavement that already existed. When this first got brought before the board back in 2019, The application was for 600,000. Everything got approved. By the time October 2022 rolled around and it was post-COVID, costs increased, and so then we had to come back before the board for an additional 600,000. That was all for the same scoping, and that was to address the increase in costs that occurred between 2019 and 2022. When this project started up for construction 2 months ago, we determined that the design was for a single layer of chip with a fog seal coat. On dirt or on natural grade road, and we talked to the contractor to see what options they could give us for a double chip seal over dirt road, because that is a more preferable option for long-term life of the road. And they came back to us with a fairly reasonable price, but it ended up having to exceed our original contingency fund. So in addition to that, in the course between 2019 and when construction started in 2024 this year, the alligatoring or cracking and divots that occurred in the existing pavement road had increased over the last 4 years. And so there was an additional amount needed to replace what was originally going to be replaced. That amount increased, and we needed to replace that in order to make sure that when the rumble strips got installed, it wouldn't actually deteriorate the road worse than doing nothing. So this additional $264,054.68 is for that increased scope of the project, in addition or above what we had originally brought before you guys.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Supervisor Humphrey.
I have no questions.
When do we plan on doing this? The cost keeps going up. Is this our impact 264? Is that the impact to the county, or is that?
That is the impact to the county. That is the final impact. They are doing the rumble strip next week.
Okay.
And that's the last aspect of that project that needs to be done.
Okay. Thank you, Alex. With that, I'll call for motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to increase the Gila County construction budget contribution for the Arizona Department of Transportation Intergovernmental Agreement number IGA 22-0008731-I in the amount of $264,054.68 as presented.
I will second that. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you.
And we have item 4L, information, discussion, action to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 17T Kimbley-510 with Kimbley Horn and Associates Incorporated to extend the term of the contract through June 30th, 2025. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, Chairman, Board of Supervisors. The primary goal was to work with Kimbley Horn to create and obtain the required information to go to the State Land Department with a request to purchase the land surrounding the fairgrounds, essentially called our due diligence. There are 3 essential items within the contract that are necessary for the due diligence process. First, we created a land use map, or an architectural concept often referred to as a bubble sheet, to bolster our proposal to the State Land Department. Second, we are currently carrying out an environmental assessment and an archaeological survey. Lastly, we need to present all this information to the State Land Department to finalize discussions about the purchase of the state land around the fairgrounds and to support additional requirements. If the land acquisition from the state is successful through auction, it would add 320 recreational acres to the existing 180-acre fairgrounds. To ensure the successful completion of the project, the Facilities and Land Management Department proposed an extended contract number 17T-Kimbley-510 through June 30th, 2025, with no change to contract amount of $70,500. Again, just to emphasize, this is the extension of the date so that it gives us the opportunity to close this out. With that, I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Joseph. Supervisor Humphrey.
Mr. Chair, I have no questions.
And I do not have questions. Thank you. And with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve amendment number 1 to contract number 17T Kimbley-510 with Kimbley Horn and Associates Incorporated as presented.
And I will second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph. Next item is 4M, information discussion action to approve an economic development agreement number 07032024 between Gila County and Cobra Valley Youth Club in the amount of $5,000 to provide educational and recreational services to youth in the Cobra Valley area, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public. Supervisor Humphrey.
Yeah, this is the youth club. It used to be Boys and Girls Club of America. Years ago, we pulled off, and so they have their own club, and they do a lot for kids. They do summer camps. They do an awful lot of things. And if I'm not mistaken, Kathy, Supervisor Klein and I are both working on this for them. So yes, Supervisor Klein's not here today, but I give him a thumbs up, and I'm glad that everything's okay. And he and I are working together on this for the local youth club. And so that's my 2 cents.
Very good. I have no questions. So with that, I will call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve Economic Development Agreement number 07032024 with the Cobra Valley Youth Club as presented, which the board has determined to be for the benefit of the public.
And I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Ask for a motion to recess as the Gila County Board of Supervisors and convene as the Gila County Board of Equalization.
So moved.
I will second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item 4N is information, discussion, action to reappoint Howard C. Johnson as the Board of Equalization's hearing officer for 2 years for the period that begins July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2026, and approve the hearing officer agreement for the same time period. Samantha.
Thank you, sir. The county has contracted with Howard C. Johnson since 2018 to conduct our Board of Equalization hearings. Hearing Officer Johnson also contracts with other counties throughout the state to conduct their hearings. So this is a request to reappoint Howard C. Johnson as the Board of Equalization hearing officer for another 2 years and approve the hearing officer agreement for the period beginning on July 1, 24 through June 30, 26. I can take any questions.
Thank you, Samantha. Any questions, Supervisor Humphrey?
Yeah, but you probably can't answer this, so I'm going to reach out to our staff that's here. Would it be being that he's doing a lot of hearings, would it be beneficial, being that he's a subcontractor, to have a second hearing officer to be able to get more hearings done on a prompt matter or timely manner? Or are we doing well the way it is, or just one guy doing all the hearings for everybody works out for us as well? I think James is taking this one.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Humphrey, we certainly can take a look at that and inquire into whether a second hearing officer would be beneficial to ensure that we are hearing these cases timely.
Yeah, Randy had left, and I know that he's kind of over that, and I was just wondering, sometimes if we don't get hearings done for 60 days or so, if we had another subcontracted hearing officer that wasn't doing the whole state, could we maybe be more effective with our hearings? That's my only question.
Mr. Chairman,
I don't expect an answer now, or even later. It was just something to bring up. You know, one subcontractor is good, but 2 subcontractors might be better. That's all.
Absolutely. Thank you for that recommendation, and we will make an inquiry into that.
Thank you. No further questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
And thank you.
I have no questions, so with that, I'll call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to reappoint Howard C. Johnson as the Board of Equalization's hearing officer and approve the new hearing officer agreement as presented.
I will second that. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. I will ask for a motion to adjourn as the Gila County Board of Equalization and reconvene as the Gila County Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
And I will second that. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. You almost tripped me up there, Samantha. Did you know? I caught it though. Great. We're on to the consent agenda items. We have items 5A through Z. Supervisor Humphrey, would you like to remove any or all for further discussion?
Yeah, being it's early, let's do all, no, I'm kidding. No, I don't want to look at any, thank you.
Okay, thank you. And I do not wish to do any removals and vote separate. So I will call for a motion to approve consent agenda items A through Z.
Mr. Chair, I call for a motion to approve consent agenda items A through Z.
And with that, I will second. And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. We're on to call to the public. Item number 6. We will have any individuals that wish to address the Board of Supervisors. Anyone here in the Globe facility? Anyone in Payson?
No, sir.
And how many did we have on the internet today? We were up to about 25. Thank you. At this time then, I will move on to item 7, which is our reports, and I'll start with Manager Menlove.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Humphrey, I wanted to acknowledge that we had received a certificate of appreciation from the Globe Miami Regional Chamber of Commerce. It says Certificate of Appreciation. This certificate is proudly presented to Gila County Board of Supervisors for being a loyal member of the Globe Miami Chamber of Commerce for 25 plus years. Presented on June 27th, 2024. So they are appreciative of the support that you as the Board of Supervisors have given them. Appreciate them and all the work that they do for furthering small business development and other things that chambers of commerce do in the area. I did meet along with Chairman Christensen, with Dr. Janice Lawhorn of the Gila County Provisional Community College District. They had sent a request for the amount that was included in the budget, $250,000 for support of their effort for accreditation. They had sent a financial report. I had some questions about the details of that, and so Chairman Christensen and I did meet with Dr. Lawhorn. There is, in my opinion, significant progress that has been made. You'll probably report on this too, Supervisor Christensen. I don't want to go too much, but since that was budgeted, we have pushed that through finance, and they're in the process of processing that $250,000 check to the community college district for continued support of the accreditation effort. I will leave it at that. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. Supervisor Humphrey.
Well, I attended the District 2 project meeting, and I appreciate Homero and all the staff that we get together on projects that are in process in District 2 or wish to be in process in District 2. And so that's a meeting I very much look forward to, and so thanks all the staff for that. I attended a Campaign Creek kickoff meeting for the grant from FEMA to buy out flood damaged properties in Roosevelt along Campaign Creek. That's been a nuisance for a lot of years. The lower part of that was bought out several years ago, and the creek still wants to take some more. So thank goodness we were able to get the grant from FEMA to go ahead and take 10 homes. And working with the people right now and getting that. And again, hats off to staff because we've got a year to do it in. And so everybody's on go fast to get that done. But what a relief that'll be to open roads and stuff again back there once we can get those houses demoed. So I appreciate the Board of Supervisors and all the staff that's helped with that. I spoke at the Republic Club meeting on July the 20th. And this evening at 5 o'clock, I will hold the Tonto Basin meeting, providing the road's not closed due to fires. And Carl has left, so we've got fires on both sides of 188, and I'm not sure. I think last I knew they were on set, not go yet, so I don't know how well attended the meeting will be. But we're gonna have it anyway, so that's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Supervisor. Well, I drove right through that area today, and there's not much going on, so I don't think there's going to be any problem with the fires there. Lots of lightning. As Manager Menlove did say, we had a meeting. I felt it was a meeting that showed positive progress, which is what we were hoping for. And so we look forward to that continuing. The elections are over in Gila County, the final tally, the final count. And the most notable, what do you say, curiosities were the elections for the town council in Payson. Very, very narrow, very narrow race. And so I thank everyone that supported me, of course, but I do represent all those, whether they supported me or not. I still will represent you as best I can. And I want to thank Eric and his team. There's only 2 people in that department, and it takes time to get that done. I think he's done an excellent job, and so I want to really thank him for that. Does a lot with very little. And the 9th of this week, Friday, there's been a meeting scheduled that we will canvass the election. So that will be happening on Friday. Did you have something else?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I could, I just wanted to express appreciation as all to Eric and his staff, and also Recorder Bingham, that they put on an impartial election, that there were no incidents, no problems, no issues that we had during the election. So I appreciate their efforts, just as you have mentioned, Chairman. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And so just as a little commentary, there's a great deal of people that are very suspicious about the integrity of our elections. I'm very confident that we do a great job with that as we proceed. So we may have a recount for the Payson Town Council. I don't know if we will or not. It's in the process. Okay. Okay, that was probably expected. So the race isn't within just one vote here and there. So anyway, that's all I have. So if there's nothing else, then I will adjourn the meeting and wish you well. Thanks. You're right, there's another item on here, isn't there? Okay, so thank you with that. I'm not going to adjourn the meeting just yet. We'll go to item number 8, which is an executive session. Item 8A is information, discussion, action to vote to go into executive session pursuant ARS 38-431, 03A3, and 4 to discuss a settlement offer from the third-party insurance carrier for the damages submitted to the guardrail on Bixby Road and Pinal Creek on December 10th, 2024. And with that, I will call for a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to convene into executive session pursuant to ARS 38431.03A3 and 4 to discuss a settlement offer from a third-party insurance carrier for the damage sustained to the guardrail on Bixby Road at Pinal Creek on December 10th, 2023.
I will second that motion. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. We will adjourn to executive session. already? Okay, we'll reconvene here in the Board of Supervisors room, and I will call for a motion.
Well, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that staff proceed as requested in executive session.
Very good. I will second that motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimous. Thank you. Now I will adjourn the meeting.